Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. I look forward to this hour with my colleagues to talk about jobs. How do we create jobs in America? We're now well over 14 months of the Republican control of this House, and not one significant bill has passed this House that would create new jobs. Many bills to wipe out environmental laws, many bills to wipe out regulations that protect the citizens of the United States from pollution and contamination of one sort or another. But where are the job bills? We absolutely have to create the jobs in America, and today we're going to take about an hour to discuss how we can create jobs in America. One of the principal ways is to make it in America. Manufacturing matters. Manufacturing was the heart and soul, the foundation for the great middle class, the rise of the middle class here in the United States. It wasn't too long ago that manufacturing in the United States was a big deal. About 23 years ago, we had almost 20 million Americans in manufacturing. It also happened to coincide with the largest percentage of Americans that were in the middle class. Over the intervening years, we've seen a slow decline until we hit this period of 2000 to 2009. And we saw a precipitous drop to just over 11 million manufacturing jobs in America. That coincided with the decline of the middle class in the United States. So what we want to do today is to focus on how can we rebuild the American middle class. One of the principal ways of doing it is to focus on manufacturing, and to focus specifically on rebuilding the great manufacturing sector in the United States. Many, many ways to do this. I notice my colleague from Oregon is here to join us, and I know that there are many things that are happening in Oregon that speak directly to this, one of which is competition between Oregon and California for the manufacturing of light rail cars. I'll let my colleague from Oregon go first, and then I'll pound on him that California is a better place to manufacture light rail cars than Oregon. But either way, they're made in America, and that's to the benefit of all Americans. Please join me, and let's see where we can take this.
Thank you. I deeply appreciate your courtesy in permitting me to speak. I appreciate your leadership in focusing on the need to rebuild and renew this country, putting Americans back to work, being able to not just revitalize our economy, but our neighborhoods and strengthen our families. It is true that there are some areas where there are some great opportunities for healthy competition. The gentleman may be referencing the fact that recently we have started manufacturing a streetcar in the United States for the first time in 58 years, and it's being manufactured in Portland, Oregon. But I would note that that project, manufacturing the streetcar, includes the work of subcontractors across the country, including 40 in the Midwest that had been so hard hit by some of the decline in manufacturing activity. The point is that being able to make goods in this country, that whether it's light rail, streetcar, heavy rail, whether we're dealing with fabricating steel for bridges and roads, rebuilding the power grid, these are all areas that are a tremendous source of family wage jobs. I find no amount of irony that one of the major Republican candidates for president somehow thought that President Obama was being, and I'm using his direct word, elitist by advocating that young people have the chance for a college education or going to a community college. My goodness, how out of touch can you possibly be? I don't know any American that doesn't want his or her child to be able to have the opportunity for further education and training, this is part of an agenda here. I look forward to the conversation this evening. At one point, I'd like to cycle back to the spectacle we had on the floor of the House the week before we recessed for President's Day, where we had the most partisan transportation bill in the history of the House, narrow in focus, small in vision, dividing the various elements of transportation, and that was so bad that our Republican friends were embarrassed to even have a hearing on it. Never before in the history of the House have we had a major surface transportation reauthorization that never even had a hearing. Well, mercifully, our Republican friends have decided that that wasn't getting them anywhere. The outcry from transit agencies across the country, from cyclists, even from the people who advocate safe routes to school, the program designed for our children to be able to get back and forth to school safely, that they eliminated, so they put that on the back burner. But the point is, you are right. We've enjoyed, if I can use that term, their Republican leadership of the House for 14 months. We have no economic development plan. We have no transportation bill. And we continue to have an opportunity to rebuild and renew America languishing.
Well, thank you so very much for circling back to the transportation issue. That issue is still before this House. There has been no hearing, and the bill that was